It's Jordan. Today is Thursday night, and I just decided to pull out the camera and just start recording tonight. It's a super chill night, so nothing too exciting over here, but I'm sure that I'll record some of tomorrow, maybe a little bit of this weekend, depending on how long it ends up being. A couple of updates over here. I would say probably about like maybe 3 updates. I don't know. We'll just see as we go along here. Number one, I don't know if you can notice, maybe it's just me. I'm still recording from my phone, so like obviously that quality is just gonna stay the same until I can like afford to get a nice camera or even just some sort of equipment, I guess. But something exciting is that I got a ring light. It's a little miniature one that you just like clip on your phone. My mom found it from Amazon and she knows that I've been doing this, obviously. She's like one of my #1 supporters. And she was like, she saw it on Amazon for sale, like super cheap compared to what it usually is. And she's like, oh my goodness, Jordan, like you have to get this. So I quickly ordered it and it just got here today. That's why I've been just like waiting to pull out my camera until today when I got it. But honestly, I feel like it makes a big difference. Let me see if I can just turn it off or I'll just take it away. Like, look at the difference. Like, that's a huge difference, I feel like. It's just, ooh, I should probably turn this off. But it's just this, and it just clips. So obviously, no, it's not super bright. But let me just quickly turn on. But there's like 3 different settings, like 3 different brightness levels, I guess. So let's pop you back on there. I feel like it makes quite a bit of a difference. But anywho, so there's that. That's just kind of like exciting. I feel like I just need to like put it in here so we can remember today that today I got my very first piece of equipment for making videos. Number 2, I guess you could say my car, my lovely piece of crap car, but I love her. She's a piece of crap, but I love her. I bought her for like my 19th birthday present to myself. Super stupid. So dumb. It's honestly one of the worst cars that you could ever purchase. It's a Mercury Mariner, not to throw those under the bus, but they're just like horrible and they're known to have so many like big problems. Like I had it for a year and then like the transmission motor went and I had to get like a over $4,000 like loan just to get it fixed because I didn't have that kind of money to get it fixed. And just like random things have obviously broken, like normal car things, but I feel like this car just kind of like has really sucked for me. So anywho, with that being said, the power steering went out, but it wasn't even just like out all the time. It's like it would go out and then I'd turn off my car and then turn it back on and then it'd be back. So I knew that it was some sort of like sensor problem, but everything in that car for like power steering is electric. And so I went ahead and I told my mechanic that I typically go through and he's like so sweet. He was like, actually, I just looked it up and there's recall on it. You could probably get it like fixed for free through like a Ford dealership, which I thought was so nice of him for even telling me because he could have obviously like made money off of me for fixing it because I would have paid whatever I had to get it fixed. So anywho, went ahead and dropped it off there today and they told me that it would take about an hour and a half to get it fixed. And so I was like, okay, perfect. So I just stayed in the lobby, pulled out my laptop, started my paper that I had to write, that 25-page paper that I told you about. I just started like working on it there. But then he came out and he told me that there was a hurdle that we have to go over. And I'm like, of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? It's my car. Are you sure that there's just one hurdle? Like that was my question. I was like, how bad is it? 1 second. Okay, I'm ready. Tell me. And he ended up telling me that wasn't even that bad of like a hurdle, I guess you could say. I don't really understand cars, but pretty much he fixed whatever needed to be fixed for the power steering. But when he fixed that, something else was wrong too. So then it made like my steering wheel or like my wheels or whatever lock up when it turned to the right. So my wheels were just like locked to the right. So now he has to fix something else, but thankfully that's under that same like, what do you call it again? I just said it. Recall. It was under the same recall. So thank the Lord, it's free. And also, can I just say, the Ford dealership, I don't know if it's just like the one in like where I live or if it's just like Ford dealerships across the board, I had a super good experience. I went in, I was so nervous because my boyfriend was at work, and so I went there alone, and just like as a woman, I just was super nervous that they were going to try to take advantage of me, act like I'm stupid, act like I don't know what I'm talking about, which I don't with cars, but I'm not stupid. So like, there's a difference. And I was just like super concerned, but they were all so friendly and so nice, like made sure that they told me exactly what was wrong with it and then explained it in like a way that made more sense to me too. So that was super nice. And then on top of it, because of that hurdle, they were like, listen, like we close here at, I think it was like 7 or I don't even know, but they were open a little bit later today. And he was like, we're definitely not going to be able to get this fixed by today. And so I'm going to have to send you home without your car. And I was like, okay, lovely. This is perfect. I work tomorrow. Just kidding. I didn't say that all to him. I was like, oh, that's totally fine. Like, I'll call my mom. Like, it's fine. Well, he was like, actually, because you've been sitting here waiting and like it's a recall and we're fixing your car and blah, blah, blah. He's like, Ford actually gives a rental car for free with no charge. And I thought that sounded way too good to be true. So I was like, oh no, like it's okay. Like I'll just call my mom. Because to be honest with you, in the back of my head, I'm like, if he's telling me that it's free, and then all of a sudden, like, just some random charge shows up and then it's like, oh, well, it was in fine print. Then, like, I'm not going to get caught up in that. I'm not going to do that. So I told him, I was like, no, thank you. I'll just call my mom. And he's like, no, like, I promise. Like, it's literally free, $0. You just have to bring it back filled up, like, with your gas. But, like, you get it filled up. So it's whatever. And, like, the car that they were going to give me is better in gas mileage anyway. So, like, it would have been technically cheaper, I guess, for me to be driving this car than my car. And obviously this car was way nicer. And so I was like, okay, you sold me. So I signed the papers, gave him my ID, like whatever it was, got the car. It's a 2021 Ford Escape. And to be honest with you, I've always been team like, oh, I don't want an Escape. Like whenever I get a new car, I just didn't want an Escape. I don't know why. I just didn't really want one. I just didn't. And I got into the car and I was like, this is so nice. Like, first of all, you have to remember, like, well, you might not know this or not, but like my car that I have right now is kind of like, it's old. Like it's on the older side. It's a 2008. Like it's pretty old. So I got into this car and it was like push start, which I know is like normal now, but like that's not normal for me. So I was like, wow. And then like the huge, like it looks like a little mini iPad, like probably bigger than a mini iPad. Let's be real. Like as like the center screen thing. I don't even have a screen. I just normal push buttons that have like the little, it's like this big, the old ones. And so I was like, holy crap. Then he's like, okay, just to let you know, like when you stop at stop signs or stop lights, if you like go onto the brake and then you lift your foot off of the brake, you're not going to like start rolling. You know how you start like rolling or coasting or whatever? You don't do that. You have to like actually physically push the gas, because if you like come to a complete stop, then you can take your foot off and then you just sit there and like the car doesn't move. And I was like, so I start the car, and as I'm like literally not even pulling out of like their parking lot, my steering wheel is like warm. My seat is warm, which I don't have no heated seats up in my car. And so I was like, this is like luxurious, even though that I'm sure almost every car has heated seats at this point. I don't really know, but mine does not though. And I was like, holy moly, it connects to your phone too. I had to, like, my boyfriend had to buy me one of those thingies that plug into like the cigarette lighter thingy to like connect to my phone. So I'm like, wow, this is bougie. So like I looked it up on Facebook Marketplace just to look up like used ones. They're expensive, over budget for me for sure. But I literally was just talking to my friend who actually has the same car, just a couple years like older, but like still new. And I was talking to her about it, and I literally was like, okay, if I just like get my car fixed right now and it's like drivable, like why would I get a new car if it's not drivable? Like, I don't know. And if I just like don't have to, then whatever. But if I could just like hold off like a year, even a year and a half, like, I don't know, just something like that, I could totally get like this year, 2021, in like a year or two used. And then like, so then obviously like the used prices right now, it would be cheaper in a year and a half. I don't know. I was just kind of like thinking ahead. I'm like, I think I've definitely jumped onto the bandwagon of, I say bandwagon, I don't know if everybody likes it, but my boyfriend would always try to like get me to like it. He would always be like, why don't you want a Ford Escape? Like blank, like our friend. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just didn't want one. And like, love you, bestie. my future baby's auntie, if you're watching this, I think that that car is so cute for you, but I just didn't think that I would want it. I thought I would want like, I don't know what I thought I wanted. I think I wanted like a boxier car. I don't really know. Is that considered a boxy car? I don't know what's wrong with me. That's just plain and simple. I just thought I would not want one. But now I do after driving one. I'm like, this is so nice. It's probably because whatever car I would have driven today, I probably would say the same thing about that car just because it's so much nicer than my car that I have now. But it drives so smooth, and the brakes are like, when I first went on the brakes, I probably looked like I slammed on my brakes in front of the building. I literally was kind of embarrassed, but I was like, ooh, like it when you barely push onto the brakes, like you really stop. And that's not how mine are. So, anywho, that was a longer update. I'm sorry. So number 1 was I got this ring light. Number 2, my car is in the shop. Taken a little bit longer. So then they gave me a rental car, and it's so cute. Makes me love it. And then my third update for you guys is that I actually went and saw my therapist for the first time in a long time. I haven't seen her, and I love her to death. I really do. Nothing was ever wrong why I didn't go and see her. It was simply because of COVID. They turned everything to like telehealth. So you had to use the phone and just call her. And like, even though I love talking to her, like no shade or anything, but like I'm not going to like pay out of pocket like a certain amount of money to call her for an hour when I could literally just like call my mom or call my boyfriend or call a friend or whatever and like just talk about random stuff. It's just like I would rather sit in an office and be able to talk to her face to face. So I was super excited to go see her. I saw her Tuesday, and honestly today is Thursday and it's only been 2 days since I've seen her, and I already feel like a whole new woman. Like I just do. Like I cleaned my car, and my car always resembles how I feel in life. So if like my life is messy, then my car is so messy. And anybody that knows me knows that my car is always messy, and it's because I always feel like my life is messy. There you go. So the last 2 days though, I feel like my life is like getting a bit better. Like I feel like opportunities are starting to come my way. That's really just gonna like pave like my way to like my future, I guess you could say. And like just things are, I don't want to say too much, but just like things that like my boyfriend and I have been really working really hard towards is kind of like in the works of it happening. And it's just like super, super exciting things are coming our way. And then like, I don't know, I just feel like good things are happening. And then I go and I see her, and then like talking through certain things. I don't know how to explain this, but she's helped me work through a lot of stuff, obviously. But recently, like I've really wanted to focus on just like my future and how to work through anxieties that I have now, and just like make goals in my life, like college-based, career-based, like just relationship-based, just like all that sort of stuff, and have her help me like work through it. And so just seeing her really made me feel like super motivated about my future, about college, about my career, just all that sort of stuff. And so, yeah, it just made me have like a very fresh mindset, I guess. I just highly recommend seeing a therapist to anybody, even if you feel like you're like, oh, I don't have any reason to go see a therapist. It's just super fun and super nice to go see somebody and just be able to talk for an hour, get somebody's advice that's like totally like unbiased on everything. And yeah, I just really like my therapist. So that's super nice. And I feel like I was going to say something else. Can't think. I really can't think. I was totally like blanked. But I feel like those were like my biggest updates though, was just like, you know, got the fun ring light, my car, and gonna go see my therapist. So I guess before I just like start starting off with a blank stare, because I really truly feel like there was something else I wanted to say, we can just get on to what I was just about to do for the night. So I am trying to become like a really good reader. So I am going to school to be an English teacher. And that literally sounds so whack that like I'm not like this big reader and I want to be an English teacher. But I love teaching about literature. I love taking like literature and teaching it. And I also love writing. Like I want to write books. Like I want to write poetry books. I want to write just like normal, like self-developmental. That's what I was gonna say. Okay. You just caught me in like a moment. Okay. The last thing I was going to say really quickly, so like backtrack. Okay. One of the things that like my therapist kind of like made me get motivated to do is start listening to like really self-developmental self-developmental books and stuff. So anywho, my boyfriend, he has this Audible membership and he honestly doesn't know how to cancel it, which works out great for me because I don't want to pay for that membership because I didn't need it in the first place. And he got it for school a long time ago. So anyways, I asked him, I was like, well, since you don't know how to cancel it, can I please put it on my phone and just like use it? He was like, sure, don't care. Like, actually, please use it. So I feel like I'm actually paying for something, like for some sort of reason. And I was like, sounds good. So he had all this credit built up. He had like 15 credits built up or something. So that's like 15 books that I can like download and listen to. So I downloaded a couple of like the Colleen Hoover ones that are like super popular that you see all over like TikTok and like Instagram and stuff. And so like Verity, I think is the one. Anyways, I downloaded a few of those, but then I downloaded a ton of like self-development books, I guess you could say. And the one that I'm listening to right now, it's called Under Construction, and it's by Chrishell, and I forget what her last name is, but she's from Selling Sunset. If you haven't seen that show, you need to go watch it. It's literally amazing. Excuse me. Okay, I felt like my phone was getting dark. I'm sorry. But anyways, I pretty much just like listen to it in my car like it's a podcast, and I've been absolutely loving it. And so I listened to it yesterday and I listened to it today, even on my way to class, and it made me so happy and super motivated to like do super good in school, crank out school. I've been getting that like weird feeling of like senioritis, I guess you could say, but I have a little bit longer than like one full school year. But I just like have that feeling of like I'm so done, and I just like keep thinking like, how am I ever going to graduate? I'm literally never going to graduate. Like, I don't know. I just have that weird feeling. And so it was like just super helpful, and it made me feel like I got into a really good mind space. And she like talks a lot about boundaries and being able to say no and just stuff like that. And it's just like super refreshing to hear. So that's what I wanted to add. So now going into this, typically I read those sort of books. Or I read like psychological thrillers. Like I usually just go off of those two. But other than that, I don't really read, and it takes a lot for me to get into a book. So with saying that, I've never in my entire life picked up a Harry Potter book. I thought that was like so nerdy, and like I was not going to do that. Like I was not going to get into Harry Potter. No. Well, I went to my mom's house like I don't even know how many weeks ago, and I just snagged a couple books that I wanted to try to read that she has. And one of them is the first Harry Potter book. I've never read it. Like, I feel like it's an outer body experience that I'm going to try to read this. And I've read, I'm on page 8 already. I'm just kidding. But I'm on page 8. Like, I'm trying so hard. I'm going to try to read this book. It can't be that hard. Like, I have to push myself. It's just because I don't is it wizards? Like, is this book about wizards? Like, or is it, I don't even know. I have no idea. But I know a lot of people like it. And isn't it like Universal Studios or something? So what if one day I go there, then I'm going to want to know everything about it. And also I just feel like genuinely like if I want to be an English teacher, I should probably read this, especially because I could be teaching middle schoolers. And I feel like this is like a solid middle schooler book. Or do people read this in high school too? Probably. This is probably an all like whatever. Anyways, so I'm going to sit on the couch, and to try to get myself to read, by the way, I turned off the TV, which means I turned off YouTube on one of my nights off. What am I doing? I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing, but this better be somewhat worth it. And I'm going to try to be really proud of myself. So anyways, what I was going to go do was I was going to go make myself some hot chocolate. Because hot coffee sounds really good, but like I cannot drink coffee right now. That would be ridiculous because I have to be up tomorrow morning at 5:30. So I cannot be drinking coffee right now. So I'm going to go make myself some hot chocolate. And also at that car dealership, they had hot chocolate sitting out, but I was too scared to go get it. But it looked really good. So now let's go make some. So, as you can tell, I'm making my hot chocolate and I'm living my best life and I'm having the best night ever and I'm about to read Harry Potter. Well, I go into my living room and I set my cup down on this tall table that I was using to set my phone up to record, and I set my coffee there, my hot chocolate there, and then my cat decides to jump around. And then this happens. So, real life. I didn't even have one sip. Not one sip. Not one single sip. And now it's 10:15. And I have to be up at 5:30. And all I wanted was hot chocolate and to try to read Harry Potter. And look at my makeup. I'm just gonna try to make one small cup now for the second time. Back to something and just think, like, how did that even happen? Like, what just happened? Oh my gosh. Let's hope that this next cup goes well, considering my boyfriend will be home in like 30 minutes and then I am going to bed. So we have 30 minutes to make this hot chocolate and reading thing worth it. And if I just wasted watching YouTube over all of this, maybe Harry Potter and I are just not meant to be friends. Sorry, Harry. You just might not be it.
I've been through heartaches, I've been to heaven. I've done my best and my worst, learned my lessons. No matter how hard my life would treat me, I'd always get right back up